Well, joining me now is the investigative journalist and former detective Mark Williams-Thomas, who's interviewed Pistorius multiple times in relation to both his trials and sentencing, and joins us now. Very good morning to you, Mark. Thanks for joining. Can you just set the scene for us? I mean, how many times have you interviewed him, and that's included whilst he's been in prison?
Morning. Yes, I mean, I got the exclusive interview with him prior to the initial court case. I did that for a paper, and then I did my ITV World exclusive, where I gained access to him and spent some 4 to 6 months with him making a documentary program, which is the first exclusive interview, the only interview that he's ever given. And I've been and seen him a number of times in jail, and we've spoken lots of times on the phone. And I think one thing that's really important for people to understand is this is a man who regrets every moment of that night. He doesn't look for any sympathy in relation to that. He knows he took a life of his loved one. Reeva and him were very much in love. They'd only been in a relationship for 6 months. And he knows now on his release that he has to live with that for the rest of his life, and he will do.
On that note, I mean, maybe this is already obvious to most people, but I'm not sure that it is. We mentioned there in the intro that he, in the trial, claimed it was an accident and he thought she was an intruder. Does he still claim that, or in order to reach parole and over this 11-year period, has he changed his tune on that particular point or not?
No, and that's absolutely the evidence that he gave at court, and that's the evidence that the Judge Masipa accepted. And in fact, my investigation very much showed that. There was some build-up to this, which very much proved that this was a man who was living in fear, in worry, and you need to understand the risk of home evasions in South Africa. So very much that is the fact, and the evidence supports that it was on that night, he believed, intruders in the house, and as a result of that, a genuine accident.
In terms of his journey over the 11 years, you mentioned you've spoken to him many times on the phone. How has he personally changed by prison?
Oh, I mean, going to prison and going to a prison in South Africa, which is one of the most dangerous countries for prisons, is a completely new world for an individual. So he's had to learn the prison system. He hasn't received favourable treatment, however much the press and individuals have tried to say he hasn't. He's had to muck in like everybody else, and in fact, has had to work his way into a position to understand how to keep safe in jail. They are very dangerous places. And as a result of that, he has been treated like any other prisoner, and he's had to learn how to keep safe. And safe he has been able to. There's been fracas inside jail, as there always is. But he's now coming out a very different person, no doubt, from when he went in.
What do you think the opinion across South African society is about his release? And how does the timing after 10, 11 years compare to other cases, if there are similar other cases?
Well, I mean, I think it's one of those cases. I've covered some of the biggest cases in the world, and I went over there and covered it and spent a lot of time with him. And I think it's a Marmite case. You either love him, or you hate him. And he received huge amounts of huge criticism in the media in the very early days. That was because the South African police admitted later on that they'd fed incorrect information. And as a result of that, there's been a lot of anger towards him. There will still be those people who believe that he's in jail, but the parole board have listened to all the evidence. They believe now that it's restorative time. He's done his punitive element, and he is now being released to continue and put his life back into some way. But let's not underestimate this. This is a huge story and will continue to gain interest. And Oscar will keep his head down for some period of time and try and reintegrate himself back into his family life. His family are very, very important to him. He's an incredibly spiritual individual. He's a very caring individual, and he will reflect, as he has done, every single day since that tragic event.
Mark Williams-Thomas, thanks for joining us.